on tight. If you saw race 1 in our series, you know that the EssoProtec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 series is one of the most competitive anywhere. In our Protec profile, we'll meet 19-year-old sensation Andrew Borden, leading the championship after 3 races. But he's got tough competition from the likes of Martin Roy, who'll start on the pole today at TroisRivieres. And we'll peel off the bodywork of Jean-Francois Van Diemen to take a look at the inner workings of a modern race car. Today from TroisRivieres, it is round 4 of the EssoProtec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 series here on TSN. Hello again, everyone. I'm Vic Rauter along with Paul Chater. And Paul, round 1 at Mossport really was a race to remember.
A spectacular race. 38 cars on a crowded grid from a standing start charging into turn number 1. The pole sitter Martin Roy fell back early in the race. Jean-Francois Veilleux got the lead ahead of his teammate Didier Scranin in only 15 laps. We had 6 different leaders and they changed the lead 11 times. One of the contenders, Brian Fote, with the pole sitter Martin Roy, went off at turn 10 into the tire wall. That was the end of the race for them. And then while fighting for the lead, Didier Scranin and Jean-Francois Veilleux teammates ran into each other at turn 9 and went off the road. So it was left to one of the few Americans in the race, Sam Ryan, to get into a 3-way battle here with number 37, Chris By, in front of him going into turn 3, takes the lead and never looked back. The checkered flag, it was Ryan first, Chris By in second place, and young 19-year-old Andrew Borden finished third.
2 weeks later, another large field at Montreal, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
44 cars lined up. The track was wet. These are just absolutely diabolical conditions to be in an open wheel car. Luc Lesage on the outside of the front row, a newcomer to the series, left the lead to Jean-Francois Veilleux, and Didier Scranin spinning a full 360, everyone trying to get around him, bumped a couple of cars but didn't do any serious damage. It's amazing. Charging down into the hairpin, Lesage, who was on the front row, grabbed the lead away from Veilleux early in the race as they started to pull away from the rest of the field. But then Lesage overdid it, coming into a corner, locked it up in the wet, and got off into the sand. That was the end of the race for him. So it was Jean-Francois Veilleux in car number 34 on the victory stand, with Andrew Borden in second place and 18-year-old Chris Fowler, another rookie, third.
Paul, Martin Roy won July's race at Le Circuit, so after 3 races, it is Borden leading the championship standings, followed by Veilleux and Fowler tied. Ryan and Scranin make up the top 5. It may not be well known in English Canada, but this race at TroisRivieres has become a classic. And the fans, well, they know their sport.
It's the people, the ambience, it all goes together. I mean, all the people in TroisRivieres love the racing, and they love to see all of these people coming from Texas, coming from anywhere in Canada. And, well, it brings some kind of glamour to the city, and it brings a lot of notoriety. And it's one of the 4 major car racing events in Canada now. All the fans, you're close to the teams, you're close to the driver, you're close to the track, you're close to everything, and all of the ones that are, all of the people that are coming down here, we have lap charts inside our program, and they fill that in. They got the clock, they check everything. They know that last year this guy did a minute so per lap, and now he's doing that much, and they all look at that and they cheer a lot. All of the guys that are making it anywhere in the motorsport world, they all started somewhere like in these series, the 1600, which has been very popular in the TroisRivieres. We do survey every year, and we know that all the fans love that series. There are a lot of entrants. There are entrants that they know, people that they went to school with and all that. So and that's the starting position.
Paul, I don't think it's an exaggeration to urge fans, if you have a chance to see a race in TroisRivieres, don't miss it. It truly is a great experience. The EssoProtec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 series on TSN is brought to you by EssoProtec, the leader in protection, engineered in Canada for superior protection. By BF Goodrich, because no other tires will do. And by Minidisc from Sony, the smaller, recordable, compact disc. The starting grid when we come back to TroisRivieres. Welcome back to TroisRivieres as we take a look at the field getting ready for their warm-up lap, and another large field, Paul, 44 cars. Let's run down the top 6, and starting on the pole is Montreal's Martin Roy. He had the pole at Mosport as well. Remember, he crashed out there. He's on the pole again here in his Van Diemen.
I was pretty quick all weekend, so I will try to have a good start and try to pull a gap and finish the race in first place.
Starting next to Roy on the front row, this is Didier Scranin, who works for TSN's Quebec sister network, RDS. Boy, he had his troubles. He spun at Mosport, spun in Montreal, but he's still 5th in points.
Well, it's not starting on the front row that make me nervous. That's a 30-lap race between the walls and with a lot of young competitive drivers. It's going to be a real tough one, I think.
Starting inside row 2, this is the 19-year-old Andrew Borden from Woodbridge, Ontario, currently the points leader by 38. And is he ever something?
For this race, I think I'll be watching out, seeing who spins, watching for the crashes, because I think there's going to be quite a few crashes.
Outside row 2, alongside Borden, is the winner in Montreal in the rain, Jean-Francois Veilleux. Always quick here. And this, for a Quebec driver, well, this is their Super Bowl.
Today we're going to go for it. I mean, it's TroisRivieres. Sponsors are here. Everybody's here. In any categories, it always helps drivers to have a win here. So we're going for a win. But if I see that the win might not be reachable, we'll go for the championship.
Somebody we haven't seen before. This is Mark Green from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Has done well in the Maritimes and now hopes to bring his luck here to Quebec.
We're a little under financed this year, and we've been doing some local races in the Maritimes, and we've won the last 3 races in the Maritimes and set some track records. But this is a brand new car from England, and we had it's a good car. It has a lot of potential, but we've had to spend a lot of money testing it to make it better, so sort of cut into our national budget. So.
And outside row 3, rounding out the top 6, this is Patrick Genard from Montreal, a 94 Van Diemen. And he's standing by with our Michelle Craig.
Patrick, how do you feel going into this race?
Pretty good, actually. It's a first experience at TroisRivieres, so it's pretty interesting. It reminds me of the karting track, so it's going to be fun.
44 cars, though. I don't know if that'll make it that fun, because it will be a little crowded as we run down the entire starting grid of 44. They'll go 30 laps, 10 turns, 2.4K.
Vic, it will be crowded when you consider that the top 20 cars have qualified within 2 seconds of each other. Now, that's pretty tight on a circuit where they're touring in a minute 13 seconds. But the important point here is that Martin Roy, the pole sitter, has qualified 0.4 of a second faster than the second place car, Didier Scranin. An enormous amount when you consider that 20 cars are within 2 seconds of each other.
We should also mention, if you haven't seen the EssoProtec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Championship before, there are 2 series of cars, the A cars and the B cars, which are what?
The B cars are 1984 cars in their original design or older. They have outboard suspension, so the springs and the shocks and everything are sitting out there in the airstream. The cars are slower. The newer cars have inboard suspension underneath the bodywork. They're slipperier and they're faster. The leading B-class cars qualified back in 23rd position. That's Tim Clowater from Fredericton, New Brunswick.
The cars continue to warm up, scrubbing in their tires, and we'll tell you that we have 4 onboard cameras, along with the second qualifier, Didier Scranin, Borden in third, Jean-Francois Veilleux, who we ride along with, and Rob McDonald.
Down the front straightaway, the Avenue Gilles Villeneuve, using all 4 gears, and then down. This circuit is hard on the brakes. Into turn 1, down a gear, and then quickly back over to the right side of the circuit. This is a fast corner off the throttle just a little, then hard back on the gas. Now watch this as the track narrows down through the Duplessis Arch. Back on the gas all the way up through all 4 gears. Boulevard du Carmel, quick left, flat out through here. Listen to him, 4th gear, top revs, on the brakes, down 2 gears. Quick left, surface change, throws them right out close to the wall. The walls here are always present. You can't afford to make a mistake on this track. Again, a flat out kink sets them up for the Depailler corner, a left-hand turn, down a gear, didn't pinch it tight enough and is running out close to the edge of the road here. Now, another left-hander, very slow, down 2 gears, into first through the Ryan turn. Car understeering a little bit, pulls it right back to the left, on the brakes, back out onto the start-finish straight. Little kink, hard on the throttle, down into turn 1.
And that is 1 lap here at TroisRivieres around the Hippodrome. 2.4K, 10 turns, and they'll do 30 laps. And look at this. One of the most exciting things in all of motorsports. It's just like Formula One, the standing start, the red light, and here we go.
Green light, everyone scrambling for position, trying not to smoke the tires too much into turn 1. They've got to get some momentum. And the pole sitter, Martin Roy, is in first place cleanly through turn 1 with Didier Scranin, who started alongside him on the front row in second place. They're now down into turn 2.
We have problems, though, in turn 1. So Andrew Borden, who suggested there would be some accidents, sees some now back in the field. But the interesting thing here, this is very much like Formula One. They'll just hook those with the cranes and they're gone.
They won't need a red flag, just a local yellow on that turn if, in fact, the leaders get back around before the cars are cleared away. And here they are down the Boulevard de Carmel. This is a hard braking area, good place to pass. Martin Roy out front, Didier Scranin in second, and Andrew Borden in third.
The number 4 car, that is Joe Herger. He is from Quebec, and so he'll get the hook as they come around now and down the front straight. And look at this. Everything is cleared, as he suggested, just in time.
Just in time. I hope there are no bits falling off that car when they go underneath it through turn number 1.
Now let's go on board as we ride along with Andrew Borden, that's his car on the top, and Didier Scranin looking back from his car to the pack, trying to catch up. Now it is, of course, Andrew Borden trying to keep up with Scranin ahead of him, and we're looking back from Scranin to Borden.
Watch how much Borden tightens up in the turns, coming up right on the exhaust pipe of Scranin's car.
They come through the Duplessis Arch. Now this is the Boulevard du Carmel. This will be top speed by the time they get to the end, and maybe a chance for Borden to pass.
It's a good braking zone. It's one of the few places in the track where there is really a good place to pass. There is Jean-Francois Veilleux back in 4th place. Borden, that was Scranin who lit up the tires.
Yeah, having a look inside and then lighting them up. So it is your pole sitter, Martin Roy, followed by Didier Scranin. The number 28, that's Andrew Borden, and Jean-Francois Veilleux. Veilleux looking to the inside as they make the little left and then the quick right and down the start-finish line again for lap 2 here at TroisRivieres. And we have a driver with his arm up, and his car is out. The number 23, that is Stéphane Roy from Saint-Sauveur.
And a change for the lead. Didier Scranin, beautiful pass down the front straightaway through turn 1. He's now out in front. Martin Roy in second place, but being challenged by young 19-year-old Andrew Borden. Borden had a look going into turn 2. He's going to settle back as they go through the narrow Duplessis Arch. But watch for him this time. We'll see it from Andrew Borden's viewpoint. There's the pass. Scranin got sideways coming out of turn 1. He barely hung on to that.
What a great view from the car of Andrew Borden. Andrew Borden is the subject of this week's Protec Profile. It's only his first season in the EssoProtec BF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series, but already Andrew Borden has shown that he belongs. And like so many accomplished drivers before him, Borden began in karting, 9th overall in the 94 North American Championships, 37th out of 90,000 that entered the World Championships. Borden's driving style earned him the nickname Rambo, and the admiration of fellow drivers such as Rob McDonald, who, like Borden, has made the jump to Formula 1600.
He was quite an exciting driver to watch, one of the crazy Italians in our club, so he always provided us with some good excitement, definitely. And he's a good friend, too. He's a great guy.
There's no doubt part of Borden's success is his well-developed racing sense. Speed is nothing without being in control.
Well, I think my driving style varies. It depends on the competitors. I'm aggressive when I need to be aggressive. Like if I see a mistake by another driver, I'll take the opportunity to pass, but I'll be cautious, I won't take him and me out. I'll relax, and then I'll change driving styles in another situation. If it's raining, I'll be calm, relax, just finish the race, do my best. I just do what I can to collect as many points, thinking in the long run.
Borden's racing is funded entirely by Andrew's father, Fortunato, which means lucky in English. One of the first things that Borden did was hire racer designer Ian Willis as a consultant and race engineer. Willis brings a considerable amount of experience to the team.
The big advantage we have is I've raced in the series on these tracks in this car, and that makes a big difference, I think, because we've got the setup information that I devised as we developed the car, and all we really have to do is fine-tune it to suit his driving style.
The top athletes in most sports share the common bond of physical strength, but it is psychological strength that determines the difference between a champion and an also-ran. The combination of the mental and physical and the training to develop harmony between the two is called psycho-cybernetics. And Andrew works with Dr. Peter Guy, one of the world's leaders in the subject.
We went through the process of the identification of personality, Andrew's personality, and we identify on the beginning all his strengths and all weaknesses. Based on the knowledge about this, we can set up very good and accurate tools to manage him, to coach him. See here, I know that he has huge potential to be on the top. And I decide to work with him because I know that our investment, team investment, will be profitable in the future.
Okay. Carry on.
Yeah. And then, on the beginning of the season, is general preparation, and then you are ready on the first race to perform. Okay. And this is like a first race.
Well, since Peter came into the picture here, we've been working on mental aspect of racing, you know, getting my mind prepared so I'm not nervous before I enter into the race. Like, being nervous just destroys everything. So while I'm in the car, you know, I think of techniques that we use to really calm me down and use my energies at the right time.
So with the financial and emotional support of his family, Andrew, I would think, has the potential, Paul, to go a very long way. Now it's a matter of that all-important seat time and building up that experience.
And you can't get better experience than this. In third place right now in TroisRivieres, Andrew Borden chasing down Martin Roy. He has a look on the inside going into the Ryan turn, but decides he just can't quite do it. He's back in third place. That's Didier Screenon up in front now, down the front straightaway. Now watch Borden. He gets a little slide coming out, and he's down the front straight. He's going up through the gears. He's got his hand on the gear lever all the way down the straight, though. He needs his hand on both wheels to get set up for this turn, and he's got in too late. He's hit the wall and just ripped the left front tire right off the car. The whole wheel assembly is gone. He went in far too deep into that turn and braked too late, and with only one hand on the wheel turning in, there wasn't much he could do.
Another look, you can see him lock it up, and then the car just slides to the left, ripping off that left front. What do you do? Is that chalk it up to inexperience?
Inexperience. Let's now watch from Jean-François Veilleux's viewpoint. You can see he just slips down the inside as Borden is off next to the wall with the wheels locked up. There's Borden now walking back. He's okay, but it was a combination of mistakes, Vic, that is from inexperience, but that's how you learn.
And let's remember that the 19-year-old Borden is the points leader by 38 coming into this race, and so he is out. And a good opportunity now for people such as the race leader, Didier Screenon, and Martin Roy, as Jean-François Veilleux puts his right side into the dirt, for them to pick up some valuable points.
That's one of the few corners where you can make a mistake and not end up against the concrete. He was lucky. It's tough for inexperienced drivers on a track like TroisRivieres. There is no room to make a mistake here.
So as the leader, Didier Screenon comes across the start-finish line here in TroisRivieres. Starting outside row one, he is now the leader ahead of the pole sitter, Martin Roy, followed by Veilleux, Taliani, and Mark Green. Welcome back to TroisRivieres as we ride along with Jean-François Veilleux underneath the Duplessis Arch and now up and along the Boulevard du Carmel, and you get an idea of just how quick this is.
Watch this, going into turn number 6 and a lead change. The pole sitter Martin Roy has got first place back from Didier Screenon. He just flat out braked him going into that turn. It was a good move.
Now it looked as if Screenon might be going a little wide into that turn.
Well, Scranin was on the actual racing line. It was Roy who took the chance by getting down inside and out braking and going into the turn. It was a classic motor racing pass. He did it beautifully.
So once again, the pole sitter, Martin Roy, is now in the lead, and the man alongside him on that front row drops to second, and this is a nice move.
Here they are, fourth gear, wound right out. This is the fastest portion of the track coming up to this braking zone. There's Scranin on the left. He's on the outside going into the turn, and Roy just slips down the inside, plays a game of chicken with him, gets on the brakes last, and gets through the corner first.
Now into turn one, and look at this, Alexander Taliani putting lots of pressure on Jean-Francois Veilleux.
Tried to outbrake him into turn one, but it didn't work. There's the leader, Martin Roy, coming out, Scranin staying right close to him. Veilleux, his teammate, is behind him in third place. There's a little bit of a gap there. Veilleux is trying to catch up, but you know he's got his eyes on his mirrors because Taliani's not letting him get away.
And Mark Green in the green car is running in fifth. Green from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, but we have a great battle now for first and second here. But look at the drafting that Taliani is doing on Veilleux.
And Veilleux, a very defensive move going into that turn by moving down a little more to the center of the track and effectively shutting off the pass from Taliani.
And look at the drafting again. Now these cars are so much equal. Is that where you try to pick it up in the drafting?
Exactly, and here, look, Taliani tries to do it coming into the Debaye turn, but he just didn't have enough steam, or maybe he just didn't have enough courage to leave his braking a little later.
Jean-Francois Veilleux continues to run in third place, and he is the subject of this week's BF Goodrich Track Fact as he takes us on a little tour of his Formula 1600 car.
Many people ask us, the driver, what is it like in a cockpit? So let me introduce you to our office in our race car. Here we have the steering wheel, which is actually detachable, that you can take out with a quick release in the back. So we just take the steering wheel out. Here on the dashboard we have 3 gauges. We don't actually have speed gauges, speed tachometer, because it's not relevant. We have RPM tachometer, which help us for the revolutions. In this particular case, we always shift at around 6,800 RPM, and when we adjust the car, we always want to get around 7,000 at the end of the straight. On our driver's right, we do have the oil pressure gauge, so that gives us the indication about how the engine is running with the pressures. We don't really want it to drop under 30 or 40, something like that. If it suddenly drops, it means we're in trouble. Then on the driver's left, we have the water temperature, which is in this case is in Celsius degree. We don't want it really to go over 100 degrees Celsius, obviously. That's something we always want to check, especially when the temperature is pretty warm. It's something we always want to be careful. Then on our driver's left, again, we have 2 switches and a black button. It's actually the top switch is for the ignition. The lower one is actually for the rear light. The rear light is actually not a braking light. It's just basically a light that's steady in the back that we use when it rains. And the black button on the top is actually the starter button. So the procedure to start the engine is always put the ignition on and then we press on the starter. Then here again on our driver's left, we have what we call the brake bias. It basically, it's an adjustment for the brakes where we can put a bit more brakes in the front or in the back. And then the most question people ask us is on our driver's right is basically the shifter. What does it look like? Here it is. It's a very skinny and teeny and small, and it works well. The gears are coming in very well. The travel is pretty short. It's a four gear gearbox. Okay, so now that we've seen what the cockpit is basically made out of, well, I'm going to show you exactly how we get in a car. The first thing we do is to actually take the steering wheel out, put it sideways, then we just put our 2 feet in the seat, we get in, and we simply just slide ourselves in the cockpit. The first thing we do in the cockpit is we actually get strapped by one of our crew. It's very hard for us to get strapped by other people. While I'm getting strapped, there's 2 safety features that we do have. First, here we have the extinguisher pin, which we do use in case of a fire. We pull this, and there'll be extinguisher powder coming in the cockpit and the engine bay. The other safety feature that we do have is right in the back here. It's a master switch. It kills all the electricity there is in the race car. So in case of a fire or an electricity problem, we do put that off. So once we're strapped in, we do put the steering wheel back on. You obviously be able to drive. Then we put our helmet on.
Now the crew is putting the bodywork back on. Once the bodywork is back on, you put your balaclava, your helmet, your gloves, and you go racing.
Not many offices as fast as that.
And he's currently running in 3rd place. We've got a great fight going on now for 9th place. That's Chris By, number 37, who did so well at Mosport by finishing 2nd. He's running in 8th. Behind him, car number 5, David Klubine, and that's Klubine up front there. And we're on board with Rob McDonald in car number 90. He's running behind Klubine, and that was a desperate attempt to pass under the Duplessis arch, but it didn't quite work. He flat ran out of room.
Well, exactly. One of the most unlikely spots to pass there. This is the place you want to pass.
And he's done that perfectly. He's getting a little understeer sliding. You can tell he was looking at that tire wall, just hoping the car wasn't going to slide anymore.
I tell you what, he wasn't the only one with the idea of passing there. Let's take a look. And you'll see the white car pull out. That is McDonald, but he's also got Chris Fowler on the inside of him.
And Fowler wisely pulls back into line, knowing full well that they can't go 3 abreast into any corner. That was a smart move on his part, and it allowed Rob McDonald to pick up a spot.
Now you're suggesting there's been a lot of understeer by these cars on this track for a reason?
Some of it, the corners are very tight, and they're generally fast, high speeds going into these turns, so they get hard on the brakes, and then it's an abrupt turn into the corner. That does naturally induce some understeer.
As the cars get safely through turn 1, and we go right back up to the leader, Martin Roy, still leading. Oh, Didier Scranin got it a little loose and fishtailed it out, and you know that kind of thing will cost you all kinds of time.
Especially here. And with these cars, 1600cc equal Ford motors, they just don't have the horsepower to compensate for a big mistake. It just takes them too long to spool up after you've scrubbed off that speed. And there goes Jean-Francois Veilleux.
Jean-Francois Veilleux as Taliani gets by him.
Fortunately, that escape road is there. It's one of the few places where you can make a mistake on this track. He went straight off. Let's have a look at it from his viewpoint now. He's heavy on the brakes, coming into corner number 6, just can't make it. Locks up, gets off the brakes. Now look at that. There's a classic bootleg turn. That was wonderfully executed and got him right back out onto the track in a hurry. He didn't lose that much space on the track.
And he didn't need any snow or ice to do it either.
He didn't. And here we're back with Mark Green, his brand new car, running well here at TroisRivieres. Car number 7, he is back in 4th place.
Takes advantage, of course, of Veilleux and that big mistake. And you're right, that is one of the few places where they have the runoff. But I can remember doing races here, Formula Atlantic races. That's exactly where most of the incidents happen.
Formula Atlantic, Trans Am, everybody goes off there. It's the fastest place on the track, and it is the best place to pass.
And now it's up to Veilleux trying to make up the ground that he lost. And the first man he'll try and catch is that number 7. And that is Mark Green from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, in his brand new 95 Van Diemen.
Now, you can bet Green is starting to look in his mirrors a little bit. Watch when he goes down the straightaway. He'll have a quick check on those mirrors because he knows, although Veilleux went off the road, he doesn't know he's back on the track. So he's checking to see if he did get back and how close he is.
Down the start-finish line again, Didier Scranin. As we were watching that battle for 9th place, Didier Scranin has given up 2nd place to Alexander Taliani, and now he's getting hung up in some back traffic, finally getting by Daniel Courtney of Thunder Bay, but Scranin, who started outside row 1, is having some problems.
He is having some problems. In 4th place, Mark Green is behind him, also trying to pick his way through the slower traffic. This is the first time the leaders have encountered the slower cars. This is a difficult place, and the drivers up front really have to be careful. They have to count on the guys in front, watching their mirrors closely because it's awfully tight around this track.
So Didier Scranin, that is Courtney of Thunder Bay, and we have some smoke, and it looks like steam, and that's the number 23. Earlier we'd seen Stéphane Roy with his hand up. This time, his whole body is up and out of the car as we ride along with Jean-Francois Veilleux.
The steam coming out of the car, probably a ruptured hose. You could see he was jumping out fast. I think he got some hot radiator water on him. He got out of it pretty quickly. Here's Veilleux down the straightaway. That's Mark Green in 4th place in front of him. Veilleux has a look, but he just doesn't have enough speed at this point, and he's not close enough to affect the pass. But he has gained a tremendous amount of ground considering that he went off the escape road just a few laps ago.
Oh, he's done a great job as going into the Depailler corner. Jean-Francois Veilleux has made up the ground and reclaimed third place.
Now he's off the throttle a long time coming through the Ryan hairpin. The car understeering badly through the corner. We're back with the leader, number 13, Martin Roy. He is well out ahead, and he's picking his way through the slower traffic.
And that slower traffic includes the number 55 just behind him. That is Mark Cruikshank in a B-class Crosley.
We should mention, Vic, why there is a B-class. This is one of the most inexpensive forms of racing, and there are some drivers who are not looking to forward their careers. They just want to go out and race, and you can use an older car, and it really cuts down the expense.
On board again with Jean-Francois Veilleux. Everything old is new again. He did it once. Hey, he liked it so much he did it again. Can you believe this?
I can, and he's done another perfect bootleg turn. But that was a smart move. He locked up and had the car understeering right towards the tire walls. He had enough presence of mind to get his foot off the brake and steer away from the wall and use the escape road. That was a pretty smart move, actually.
As we go back with the leader, Martin Roy, but you know, considering the fact that he had done it once and now seemingly under no pressure does it again after trying so hard to get back up into third, that would have to be a very big mistake by Jean-Francois Veilleux, as Taliani working on Cruikshank and getting hung up and losing valuable time as we have a spin going off of the Boulevard du Carmel on the Rue de Cologne. That other car sitting off on the right, we already know that is the car of Stéphane Waugh we saw go out earlier. But my goodness, Taliani having to work to get by Cruikshank, and all the time up ahead Mr. Martin Roy is pulling away.
Taliani could have easily gotten by Cruikshank, but he was alert and saw the yellow flag, knew something was going on, knew that he wasn't allowed to pass, and you saw how quickly he backed off the throttle and he stayed in his position, and then he picked his place after the yellow to get by the slower car. Smart move.
Didier Scranin comes across the start-finish line. He's currently running in third. Your leader is Martin Roy, followed by Taliani, Scranin, Green, and Genard. As we take a look at the top 10, Tim Clowater is running 17th. He's the top B-class car. Welcome back to TroisRivieres. Vic Rudder along with Paul Chater as you watch the leader, and comfortably in front, that is Martin Roy.
It's unusual in an F1600 race, Vic, to see the field this strung out. Usually they're running nose to tail, but Martin Roy has driven a beautiful race. He hasn't made a mistake. He's picked his way through the traffic nicely, and he's way out ahead. And you can see some of the marbles down each side of the race course, so that's one of the things that he'll have to try and, you know, keep a look at, keep his racing line. Don't get in there. That would be a very stupid mistake. And to maintain his concentration. When you're not being pushed hard like this, it's very difficult to keep your times up, to keep your speeds up, and not have a momentary brain fade and have it all go away because you've made a silly mistake. And remember earlier when Jean-Francois Veilleux was telling, oh my goodness, you see it get a little sideways there. Is that a case of understeer? There the car was oversteering coming out of the corner. Too much power on a little too early, and the track's getting a little slicker as the race wears on. Let's remember as well, Jean-Francois Veilleux, his tour of his car earlier, his office as he called it. The cars don't have speedometers, but there are other ways the drivers can tell their relative speed. The tachometer is a perfect way. For example, at the end of the long straight, they know when they max out at 6,800, 7,000 RPM, they know the exact place on the track where they're maxed out in fourth gear. If that happens a little farther down the road, they know they're not getting out of the corner before that as cleanly or as quickly. And they know that either the tires are wearing or the car's getting a little slower or something's happening to the car by watching the revs at particular vantage points on the track. Now they also, some of them are in radio contact so they can get it through their pit, and some will also use pit boards. Some will, and they need the pit boards or the radio contact to know whether a competitor is pulling away from them or gaining on them. And in this case, with Taliani sitting here all by himself trying to make up some ground, he's relying on his team to tell him whether he is gaining on second place. And it must be frustrating. Taliani goes by in second place. Now this is Didier Scranin. He is in third place, but coming up on some slower traffic. That's the number 9 of John Lyons from Etobicoke, Ontario. And Scranin, he throws up his hands in disgust somewhat after finally getting by Lyons. Didier Scranin coming into this race here in TroisRivieres, currently in 5th place in the championship points. Remember, the points leader
Andrew Borden, he went out very early after locking it up and tearing off his left front wheel.
Scranton's having a good race. He has not had great luck in the previous races. He spun off at Mosport, took his teammate Jean-Francois Veilleux with him. So he's driving pretty cleanly here. He's just keeping the car on the road. He's not dicing for position.
What I notice about this series in particular is that the cars being so even, you can't just put the foot to it and reel somebody in. It's a real battle as we ride along now with Jean-Francois Veilleux, and he's trying to reel in ahead of him the number 22 car of Patrick Janard.
And here we come into this corner that has given Veilleux so many problems today, twice off the escape road. He's taking it a little more cautiously. He can see Janard in front of him. He knows he still has to gain a lot of ground before he can attempt to pass. So he's got to keep the car absolutely clean. Watch now as he pulls it tight right up close to the wall. And he's not running off on the speed curbing. He has a look on the inside. He's definitely gaining rapidly on Janard.
Now this is the battle for 5th place. Janard with Jean-Francois Veilleux running in 6th. And I tell you what, he's done enough driving, enough racing for 2 races.
Look at this. He down the inside. He didn't even have to draft. He just got out of that corner at the start of the front straight much quicker. He passes going into turn 1 cleanly. Whoa, but he's got to hang on to it. He had it sliding.
So Jean-Francois Veilleux gets back 5th place, and now he heads off after Mark Green, currently in 4th. This is Rob McDonald.
McDonald has moved up to 8th place. He got by Chris By in car number 37. When we see them through the Duplessis Arch, By is not that far behind him, however.
But you know, while it's not that far, in these cars, it is a long way and an awful lot of room to make up quickly.
Well, when you consider 20 cars qualified within 2 seconds of each other, that's a lot of difference to make up, especially in the waning laps of this race.
And that's what the series is all about. It's making the cars as equal as possible to provide the racing as close as possible. This is your 4th place car. That's Mark Green from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Said he'd won 3 straight races in the Maritimes. Now he's come to Trois-Rivières to try it against some of the best in 1600 racing.
And he stayed out of trouble. He has a brand new car. That's difficult enough when you're trying to shake the bugs out of a new vehicle. Brand new car. He stayed out of trouble. He hasn't put a wheel wrong all day, and he's just soldiered on in 4th place.
And he probably knows, if he's checking the mirrors, that right behind him or quickly closing up will be Jean-Francois Veilleux.
However, he should be a little calmer knowing that Veilleux has made a couple of mistakes. Here we have a battle here between Walter Kohler and Chris Fowler.
Walter Kohler in that number 14 from Toronto, Ontario, moving by Chris Fowler. Walter Kohler, another one of those drivers, the 29-year-old. He's come out of karting. He has tried his luck, his driving skill in Formula Atlantic, but so far hasn't found the money, but shows some talent here.
Good outbraking maneuver. 2 former kart racers together here, and there they are side by side into turn 6. Kohler comes out on top. The kart racers, this is a normal place for them to graduate after kart racing, is to come up to F1600. It's just that much faster and the competition that much tougher, but the experience they gain in equal vehicles with almost equal power ranges and spec tires that they have in karting really gives them an advantage in F1600.
And Kohler manages to hold him off. The difficulty, of course, Paul, is where do you go after 1600? There used to be a 2000 series that no longer exists, so the jump for many is from 1600 to Formula Atlantic or Indy Lights, and that's a big jump.
That's a big budget jump, which will keep a lot of them racing in F1600.
Walter Kohler manages to hold on to his position as they battle for 11th spot. Kohler in the white car, currently 11th, holding off Chris Fowler. This is a neat corner under the Duplessis Arch. Really tightens up and then all the way out to the wall. And it's all about drafting, and it is Kohler being able to give himself a little bit of a break. Look at this, Fowler now trying it on the inside at the end of the Boulevard du Carmel.
Through turn 6, best passing place, but he couldn't do it. He's going to have to stay behind Kohler. They're fighting for 11th place. Walter Kohler, 29 years old, with an 18-year-old hungry to get ahead.
Really used a lot of the speed curbing, but now looks like he's picked up a little bit. Oh, going to the inside. Look at this. Chris Fowler, the nice move to take over 11th place as we go back now to the 4th place, Mark Green.
Slower cars picking through traffic. There's Genard. There's Jean-Francois Veilleux right behind Genard.
So Genard has actually gotten back 5th place from Jean-Francois Veilleux, and now Veilleux is taking it back again.
He's down the inside. You can see on the straightaway, he waves thank you to Genard as he goes by, and then brakes for the corner and gets through very cleanly. Who has the presence of mind to wave in the middle of a race?
So Jean-Francois Veilleux had 5th, gave it up, takes it right back, and he does so here.
You can see him waving even before he's completely by Genard. Then he pulls back into line to maintain the speed through the corner.
And now it is Mark Green in 4th. That white car is a back marker. That's the number 9 of John Lyons. And right behind him, Jean-Francois Veilleux.
Well, Veilleux has been in this position before many times behind Mark Green.
Into turn 1, and Veilleux has him. For 5th place, he's sitting right there, and now he sets off after Mark Green.
And you could see it. He got the car in quite a slide, an oversteering slide coming out of that turn. He almost tagged the wall.
Paul, take a look as we ride along with Jean-Francois Veilleux. These two cars, Green ahead of him and Veilleux's, they are the latest in Van Diemen's. They are 95s, and you can tell just by the side pods, the bodywork.
The side pods and the engine cowling, the cars are a bit more aerodynamic. They're slightly faster down the straights. Now Veilleux gets through turn 6, so one more time cleanly as he now starts to chase down Mark Green once again.
There you see it. See the little extra side pods on either side, and you're right, the cowling over top, over the helmet. Yeah, if Mark Green is looking back, he is seeing this purple Van Diemen eater coming right after him as we go up to the leader now. We've missed you, Martin Roy.
We've missed him because he's been all by himself and hasn't been challenged for about the last 15 laps. And running in traffic, so if there is a problem that presents itself for the leader, it might be some of the lap traffic. Actually, the lap traffic helps you to maintain your concentration. You have something to shoot for coming up to the corners instead of just driving around the track with no challenge and looking in your mirrors wondering where everyone else is.
And you hope that some of the slower cars, like the 24, who gives the signal, that is Robert Peters from Ottawa, Ontario, you know, looking in his mirrors and saying, take me on my left.
Yeah, and thanks to the blue flaggers who are standing out there waving the flags, letting the slower cars know that the leaders are coming up behind them.
Martin Roy comfortably in front here at TroisRivieres and seemingly on his way to a win here in round 4 of the EssoProtec PF Goodrich Formula 1600 Series. Now it is Jean-Francois Veilleux trying to close on Mark Green.
Here comes this battle again as they head towards the Ryan hairpin. The entrance to the pits there on the left. Veilleux's got that car sliding.
Well, you can see a couple of cars have clipped that wall, haven't they? Tire marks. Now down the front straight and into turn 1.
Here he goes. He does have the speed down the straightaway. It's quite amazing.
He's got him. Jean-Francois Veilleux, what a wonderful drive as he takes over 4th place. Back to our leader, Martin Roy. Past the back markers. Now we look back for Alexander Taliani. And he isn't even in sight. Again, a little loose. Boy, it's funny how the cars, the setups change. Here we go. It's been a problem for him all day. It's a problem for him again.
Mark Green gets past Jean-Francois Veilleux. He got the car into the corner too late, got it sliding, understeering. He had to come off the power so he wouldn't hit the wall. Mark Green was alert, took advantage of it, and has gained back 4th place.
So Taliani goes by. Now these are all cars back in the field. There is the number 3rd place car. That is Didier Scranin going by right now in the number 94. But the battle for 4th and 5th as we ride along with Rob McDonald.
who's been having a fight throughout the race with Chris By, who gets by him again on the inside. The fight for 8th and 9th place. Rob McDonald now back into 9th with Chris By out in front in 8th place.
On his last lap, the race leader, Martin Roy, with the back marker, Martin Walter from Ottawa, Ontario, just ahead of him as we go back on board with Jean-Francois Veilleux once again in the battle. Right ahead of him, Mark Green in 4th place.
Through the arch, down onto the fastest part of the track. Now they're coming up on turn 6. Jean-Francois Veilleux has made 3 big mistakes on this corner today, all while he's been chasing Mark Green. It's his last lap chance to pick up another position.
Looking for the checkered flag, and there it is for Martin Roy, the winner here in Trois-Rivières. Now looking for the 2nd place car, Alexander Taliani, and there the number 96 as we go back to this great battle for 4th. Green ahead of Veilleux.
4th and 5th place. One more shot at it. He's going to pull down on the inside. Watch Veilleux. He's looking for a place to pass. Green shuts him off.
One more time, the quick left, and now it's going to be a drag race. He goes right, he goes left, and Green, can he hang on? It is Mark Green by half a car length over Jean-Francois Veilleux in an absolute brilliant battle here at Trois-Rivières. Acknowledgement now from the course workers, Jean-Francois Veilleux, Mark Green. It was one of the best you'll see anytime this year as they battled for 4th and 5th. And this man, Veilleux, realizes he probably lost it 3 times. The winner, Martin Roy.
There's his father and his crew. After a disappointing race at Mosport where he had the pole position, he had the pole here, but he really had to fight to get the victory.
But comfortably picks up the win here in the 4th round. And the checkered flag, the victory lap for Martin Roy. And Paul, for a Quebec driver, no bigger win anywhere.
It's launched a lot of careers, including Gilles Villeneuve, who beat some of the biggest names in Formula One here during a Formula Atlantic race. Also Jacques Villeneuve, former IndyCar driver who won Atlantic races here, and young Jacques Villeneuve, who made his North American debut here at Trois-Rivières.
For Martin Roy, this is his 2nd straight win. Remember, he won at Le Circuit. Let's have a look at the top 10, and we'll return with an interview from the winner here on TSN. Today's race from Trois-Rivières has been brought to you by EssoProtec, the leader in protection, engineered in Canada for superior protection. By BF Goodrich Tires, because no other tires will do. And by Minidisc from Sony, the smaller recordable compact disc. Congratulations to Martin Roy, who's still with helmet intact, gets the friendly slap from Didier Strainin, who finishes 3rd as they make their way to the victory stand. There are your results. It's Roy, followed by Taliani, Strainin, Green, and Veilleux.
So how do you feel?
I feel great. It was a nice race, a little bit long, 30 laps at the front with nobody. It was a little bit long, but I had a good start. Didier passed me the 2nd lap, and after that I was able to repass him and open a gap, and I keep my rhythm, and it was going well. So
it's mixed feeling. I'm happy because this is the first podium of the season, and a little bit disappointed because I wanted at least a 1st place, but we had a great time, me and Martin. I like to race with Martin. It's very clean. I passed him, he passed me, and then the lappers separate us, and I was trying to catching him, and I spun in the Depayet. Too bad, so sad. Tagliani passed. Here's the 3rd place. Those guys are very fast, hard to catch, I can tell you.
Martin Roy's win, 50 points, moves him from 10th to 5th in the overall standings, while Andrew Borden's lead now just 6 over Jean-Francois Veilleux. He looks good. 2 wins in a row, Martin Roy.
2 wins in a row, and for Didier Strainin, who's on the right there, finishing in 3rd spot, his best finish so far.
The leader, the winner in beat class, Tim Clowater from Fredericton, 17th overall, followed by Lyons and Preston.
That was a good race. The start was a little hairy. I was coming into turn 1 here and saw a car coming over the top of a few of them, so he lost a few positions right there, but got it back under and had a good run, actually. A little bit of rain fade once in a while, but no, it was a good run.
The EssoProtec BF Goodrich Series is also a working laboratory. The leading cars all have their oils checked and analyzed.
And have you been finding the oil pressure has been good, maintaining its pressure well?
We've had good pressure with both the 1550 and the 530. The 530 we have been running. We made a decision with a rookie driver to run a bit more of a extra level of viscosity protection because of any extra abuse you might give the engine with over revs, that sort of thing. And as we go on in the season, if we feel the engine's running, his level of confidence with the car and the engine is better, we might switch back to the 530.
Part of the reality of putting an engine under this sort of level is that you're going to get wear. I mean, one of the features of a race is that you stress the engine so hard that wear is going to occur. The design of the oil is to control the amount of wear that will happen. And so what we really expect to be learning is the level of control on the wear process that we've obtained with our current formulation. And you're quite right. We will be looking for information from the oil analysis to teach us for the next generation of oil to make it even better.
Congratulations to Martin Waugh. Now on behalf of Paul Chater and our entire crew, I'm Vic Roeder. Thanks for joining us. Till we talk with you again, goodbye from TroisRivieres.